way you handle different types of credit. So those credit options are, revolving, which will be your credit cards, and then also your installment loans. So if you got a car, if you have a personal loan, you bought yourself a boat, a house, whatever it is, an installment loan where you go into a place, they give you something, you pay $250 a month until you're done paying for it, right? $250 a month. You have a term. It's on 48 months. It's on 60 months. It's on 72 months. Whatever it is, that is an installment loan, right? Your student loan is an installment loan. So you have those two options: the credit cards and the which is revolving, and then your installment loans. So if you have a good mix, right? It's only 10% of your credit score, but they're looking at that because not everybody. And there's data out there that suggests that some people just happen to pay a different type of credit better. They're just more in tune to it for whatever reason. So it could just be someone's mindset. I want you to change your mindset and make it where your credit mindset needs to be that all of your credit is important, not just my mortgage is important or my rent is important because it can't get put out of a place, right? That was always my mindset. I'm always pay my mortgage. I'm always pay my rent because I need a place to stay. I'm always pay my car note because I need to be able to get to work so I can make the money to pay for my place to stay. Those kinds of things. But then in my head at one point in time, I was like, and the payments, and it had nothing to do with what the payment was. Talking about a credit card with a 20 with a $20 monthly payment, but I was like, I might need that $20. Son, don't pay the credit card that month. So that was my mindset at one point in time. So I need everybody to change their mindsets when it comes to your credit. Each and everything that appears on your credit report, or listen to me now and hear me later, or that has the potential to end up on your credit report. So when I say potential to end up on your credit report, things that might go to collections if you don't pay it, right? So that's that old cable bill. You didn't pay it. You think it's no big deal. It might go to collections. You need to pay attention for those things as well. So that old cable bill, that old cell phone bill, that old utility bill, things of that nature. A few weeks ago, I mentioned Progressive, the insurance company. They've been showing up on people's credit. You need to make that phone call. Make sure those things do not show up on your credit report. So those are the kinds of things that the credit bureaus look for. They're looking for your mix. How do you handle different types of credit? And it's as far as the data is concerned, for them, it makes sense for them to place that in there for you. So your mix needs to be good. Then also your length of history. So of course, somebody that has, let's call it, a 2-year length of history or credit age, if you will, that individual is going to find it be hard pressed to get an 850 credit score, because it's not as if when you start developing credit, they start you out with an 850 and then you start falling just because you didn't do something or you missed the payment or whatever. That's not how it works, right? So since it doesn't work that way, you don't start at the top and then you fall somewhere in the middle. It'll be somebody with like a 2-year credit history will be hard pressed to get an 850 or even get close to the 750 portion where you'll be in excellent credit. It's absolutely possible to be at in the 700 range. It's probably more common to be around 680, 675, but I've seen it done with people with shorter credit histories. All right, so credit history is a large part of it as well, even though, and I'm putting up air quotes, it's only 15% of your credit score, right? It's only 15% of your credit score, your length of history. So, of course, they're looking at that. That's how you're going to get there, right? And then we've talked it to death about your credit card and your credit card debt. And oftentimes, or a lot of people just don't know that their actual debt, the amount of debt that they hold, especially on credit cards, has an impact on their credit score. So if you start to pay down that credit card debt, however you do it, if you do, I'm just paying cash on it, you're doing a snowball method, an avalanche method, or if you're, balance transferring, or you're doing a debt consolidation loan, or you're rolling it into your home when you're refinancing or whatever it is, that credit card debt plays a major, major part in what's going on with your credit. Now, full disclosure, my credit utilization has been under 10% for quite some time. I don't know how long, but like when I say quite some time, in this instance, I mean like 2 years, 1 or 2 years, it's been under 10%. But I've never been able to knock it down and get it down to zero. Just haven't been able to do that as of yet. That's the plan, right? You know, I personally used the snowball method to get my my debts down. So I'm working on it, right? So I've been not over 30% in a while, but down under and around 10 for the last couple of years. So I am down to about 4% per Experian and Credit Karma and whoever else I check, Credit Sesame and Credit.com. I'm at around 4% when it comes to that. So could that have an impact on that credit score going up? Potentially, it could have. I don't know of any data that suggests that, you know, when you get under, for example, 5%, you get a little bump in your credit. I don't know any data that suggests that. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, because a lot of the things that we know about credit, we know it because we've been watching and following, not because TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian and FICO have volunteered this information, more so because people have, you know, looked into the formula to see what really happens with it. So I don't know if that. What I do know of is staying under 30% when it comes to your credit utilization. And then it appears to be another bump, if you will, a more significant bump. You get a significant bump at 30%. When you reach 30% of your credit utilization, you get a significant bump. Then it appears you get another significant bump when you get to 10%. So when you get to 10% or under, you get another significant bump. But like I said, I've been under 10% for almost 2 years or so. So that can't be it, at least in my mind. That can't be it. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a 5% one. You know, so, you know, I've learned a lot of things from trial and error when it comes to my credit. I've learned a lot of things in that before I became, quote unquote, the 800 credit score man. So maybe there is a 5% one. Maybe that's something I need to look into. Maybe it's something I need to poll my clients on. Hey, we've been working on this debt consolidation thing. When you get to 5%, let me know what happens. Let's look and see what happens with your credit score. When you get to 4%, let's see what happens. Maybe we find a trend in there, and we'll find out something that we didn't know before, and that's another tactic for us to utilize. So those are the things that'll help you get to 850. You gotta watch out for those collections, right? You gotta watch out for judgments, which are no longer on your credit report. Bankruptcies, of course, that's a no-no if you're trying to get a perfect score for real. And, you know, perfect payment history and all the other things that we discussed today. So that's how I got to my 850. That's how I got to it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, right? So that's what we're gonna do. Oh, somebody even asked me when I posted, was that a CPN? If you know me at all, and if you've been listening to the 800 Credit Score Man show, you know CPNs are not something that I do. It's not something that I ever even would recommend, and there's a whole host of reasons why. I'm sure I've done a podcast about CPNs, so comb back through those things if you don't even know what a CPN is. I actually wouldn't worry about it if I was you. If you don't even know what one is, don't worry about it. But if you do, and you ever thought about using one, or you did use one, go back and listen to my show about CPN. So absolutely not. That's not a CPN. That's my personal credit score through FICO 8 through Experian. So, yep, 850. So, I just want to pat myself on the back all show long on that. Now, let's talk about these other things, right? Why did my score go down? So, there could be 100 reasons. There could really be 100 reasons why your score went down. Sometimes, seemingly, like I said earlier, for no reason at all. Other times, you did, quote unquote, the right thing, like I said. We just discussed that. I mean, we really did just discuss this on the show. But specifically this week when I got all of those emails, I just needed to kind of look into it. And the people that emailed me or contacted me on inbox, they left me a pretty good picture. oftentimes when somebody emails me, even if they're extra thorough and it's a very long email, sometimes I have more questions for you than answers before I can answer them because I need some more specifics. Everything that I do is specifics. This is personal credit. So it's personal to you. This isn't something that's extra general. We're like, oh yeah, just make payments on time and you're going to get a good score. That's not necessarily it. And everybody doesn't start in the same position. So I've got a really good picture from everybody that sent me those emails and stuff this week about what they did or what they didn't do on their credit reports. And quite frankly, I'm stumped as to why these people credit scores seem to be taking a dip. So each and every one of the people that asked about it this week, they actually had decreases in their credit card debt, or not just credit card debt, but decreases in some other accounts as well. So they made some payments, on accounts, and it showed, decreasing your overall balances, but their credit score went down. Now, I think I just mentioned this last week, or it probably was last week. I said don't get too worried about a score going down to 4 points, 5 points. Now, each and every one of these people, their score did not go down significantly. And again, I'm putting up air quotes again in the studio, significantly. So you're talking 6 to 11 points. I think one person's went down as much as 12 points, and another individual, it went down like 4 or 5 points that I can remember off the top of my head. So that's not a whole lot of points, but it still doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that your credit score would go down at all when you made payments and there was a reduction. Now, I will say a couple of these people actually paid off cards, and it's not something that they do regular. It's not something that they don't keep balances on their cards on a regular basis at all. So it's like one of those things, I charged $195 this month, so I pay $195. That way I'm not paying any interest, it's gone, that kind of thing. Two of these individuals actually did that. That's what they do. They pay them off at the end of the month, but their scores went down these few points. And so I'm going to be asking you guys, what have you seen? Like, what have you seen out there? Have you seen this happen to you and your credit? Have you seen this happen with you and your credit? So you guys contact me. Let me know, have you seen it? Because I frankly don't know why in the world that would be. Now, since I said there's 100 reasons why your credit score could be going down, it could be any other thing could be happening. So it could have absolutely nothing to do with you paying off your credit card. It could have nothing to do with that at all, right? But your credit score went down. So some of the things that we may not pay attention to, that could impact your score. Now, here's one of them. An old account falls off of your credit. Now, an old account falls off of your credit score, falls off your credit report, then that could cause your credit score to go down. Why? Because now you don't have the impact that it had on you with all those old, perfect on-time payments. You don't have that credit age, so it could lower your credit age as well by that happening. Let's say you didn't have any other installment loans, and that installment loan fell off your credit report. Your credit score is going to go down. So you've got to look at those things. If you're really, really concerned and trying to figure out what happened to my credit score, that's one thing that could really happen to your credit score that you might not pay attention to at all. Who goes back and look at their closed accounts? If it's closed, it's been closed and causing you no problems or whatever it is, 9 times out of 10, most people aren't going back and looking at those. I don't even go back and look at closed accounts. But that could happen, and they can bring down your credit score. That could be something you want to look into. A new inquiry. Now, you should know if you apply for something, but there might be something that you didn't even think of that you happen to apply for, whatever it is. Who knows? It could be something. But a new inquiry, or it's potential that somebody somebody applied for something without your knowledge, right? And that's right in the range. I said person lost 6 to 11 points. That is the range, basically, of what you'll lose if you get a new inquiry. Anywhere from 2 to 10 points. typically if you get a new inquiry. So you need to go check your inquiries, right? A reduction in your credit limit. We talked about this a few shows ago as well. A reduction in your credit limit is going to raise your credit utilization. So if you've been working